Very terrible thing. Steve, Russia, Ukraine, we're making a lot of progress. Could you explain that?
The Ukrainians actually said that we've made more progress since Geneva than they've seen in the last 4 years of that conflict.
And I personally asked President Putin not to fire into Kiev and the various towns for a week. And he agreed to do that. And I have to tell you, it was very nice. A lot of people said, don't waste the call, you're not going to get that. And he did it, and we're very happy that they did it.
That's correct.
Because on top of everything else, that's not what they need is missiles coming into their towns and cities. So I just thought I should say it. I thought it was a very good thing. And Ukraine was almost, they didn't believe it, but they were very happy about it because they are struggling badly.
Kyiv residents camped in the underground as outside temperatures dropped to minus 17 degrees Celsius. While above ground, explosions were heard and air defence systems were activated. A renewal of hostilities which has left a bitter taste ahead of new ceasefire negotiations starting on Wednesday.
Hello, Bobby Jones here from Midas Touch and Valor Media Networks. And today I want to take a look at a moment that says a lot about where the United States now currently stands in the world. Just days before scheduled ceasefire talks in Abu Dhabi, the U.S. negotiated pause in fighting between Ukraine and Russia collapsed. Russia's strikes resumed, Ukraine retaliated, and the diplomatic effort that the Trump administration had promoted as progress fell apart almost immediately. This wasn't just a failure of a single negotiation, it's a reflection of something much larger. The growing perception that U.S. diplomacy is no longer credible, no longer steady, and no longer trusted. The Trump administration framed the ceasefire as a breakthrough, an agreement to pause attacks, particularly on energy infrastructure, while talks were set to resume in Abu Dhabi. Ukraine agreed cautiously. President Zelensky made it clear that it was conditional, and he recognized how fragile it actually was. Russia, meanwhile, violated it almost immediately. Missile and drone attacks resumed within days. Ukrainian power infrastructure was hit again. Mind you, this is during one of the harshest winters Ukraine had seen in a long time. Civilian areas were struck, and by the time diplomats were supposed to reconvene, the ceasefire was effectively meaningless. This is the core problem. A ceasefire only works if all sides believe it will be enforced. Russia clearly did not believe that. And that brings us to the credibility issue. For decades, U.S. diplomacy worked not because America was perfect, but because it was predictable. Allies believed U.S. guarantees would last beyond news cycles. Adversaries believed violations would actually carry consequences. Under the Trump administration, that predictability is long gone. Threats are made publicly, negotiations are announced impulsively, agreements